So, did you hear that? I'm all the good in the watch world?
I heard that I'm also all the bad in the watch world by the same commenter every time. Comment it down below as well. Just
quantity over quality.
Just keep commenting the same thing. What is up, watch fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Vintage Watch Shop.
I'm Mikey Wikey. This video is sponsored by iRestore Laser Hair Therapy.
More on them later. Today we're ranking a bunch of watch brands.
Personally,
right, based on levels of interest and what they do for us on a personal level.
Yes,
and
exactly.
We only have one list here. It's not Michael's list and my list, so we're going to debate this.
We have a graphic user interface today, which is very beautiful.
Thank you so much for setting this up.
You're welcome. And obviously, the most famous one of these for the watch world is Nico Leonard's. We made a video about Nico Leonard's review.
Yes.
And then people said, why don't you do your own? So we're doing our own.
Here we are.
And I neutralized the side titles to just letters because we work with a lot of these brands. So I figured, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, just levels of interest. Listen, levels of interest are always subject to change as well, right? Like what we decide on today will be different 6 months from now because brands will release things that are really interesting, and other brands will maybe give up some of their leads. You know what I mean? Like we really don't know. I've had a couple of calls with brands already this year, a few, not too many. Most brands take their calls more like late January into February.
Yep.
They've had a couple, and I already know some of the stuff that's being released, and it's amazing. Someone's like, wow, Christian's such a dick. He just bragged about knowing. Shut up.
Do people say that?
Ugh.
15 minutes. I make sure there's nothing wrong with the video, and I can't read the comments.
I know, it's brutal.
No.
I read all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
It's gotta hurt.
Yeah, really. All right, sounds good. Let's do first. First one here is Hublot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So S being most alluring, most
S. So the way it goes A B C D. That is A is like that's the best. S is like that succeeds anything out of my imagination. That is a perfect watch brand.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Well, that's going to be really hard to do.
Interesting. I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to be in that level.
I know.
Yeah,
that's where it gets spicy.
Yeah, I would get S would be reserved, I think, for brands that aren't even on this list.
Really?
Yeah, so far as complete, just exceeding of expectations, just like no consideration for the mass market, all about making the perfect watch for a small group of people with no concession. I mean, you're talking about super micro brands.
What's that brand? I always say it wrong every time. Reshepi?
Reshepi, right, would probably fall.
They would be. I love their watches.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay. Obviously, Philippe Dufour would be a brand like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, well, if this goes well, we'll do a very intensive one.
Okay. All right, before we continue with our rankings here, and they're about to get really good and a little bit hot and heavy.
That's the wrong terminology. No, it's right.
A quick message from our sponsor at iRestore.
Yeah. Are you balding?
I'm not balding personally, no, but I know that so many people are. And the reason I know that they are is because I'm sitting next to one right now. And statistically, you're more common than I am.
True.
But there is something you can do, and iRestore has developed technology.
Yes, that's correct. So iRestore created the iRestore Professional, which is a low-level laser therapy treatment. Essentially, what's going on is you have a mix of lasers and LEDs, which iRestore is really the only people doing a mix of both, that kind of act like, instead of watering a plant, they are nurturing your hair. Yeah. Your hair is in 3 stages, and iRestore's laser therapy acts as watering and nourishing to it.
Yeah, functionally, it's really giving your hair the maintenance that it needs.
Exactly. So the main difference between lasers and LEDs is lasers offer depth of coverage while LEDs offer broad breadth of coverage while still penetrating deep enough to actually affect the follicles. And in the Pro device, there are 282 lasers and LEDs. And in the Essential device, there are 51 lasers and LEDs. And of course, there is a 12-month money-back guarantee. So you're probably thinking, well, who can use this? Men and women both experiencing androgenetic hair loss, male, female, pattern baldness, hair loss from alopecia, postpartum, stress, etc.
It's
almost everyone.
Basically everyone.
Yeah.
And so far as safety is concerned, this technology has been cleared by the FDA as non-invasive. So there's certainly no reason to be nervous. This is just brilliant technology.
Clinically proven, so you know it works. Use it for 25 minutes every other day, and you should be good to go.
I think that's fantastic. So, if you are balding and would like to safely encourage, healthy, hair growth, then I highly recommend you take a look at eye Restore.
And even better, for a limited time only, if you use our code Theo and Harris, you can get $400 off of their Pro device.
I think that's just terrific.
So do I. Okay, Hublot.
We
immediately put it at well, it was a great brand.
I've said before, I love the Hublot Unico chronographs. I love the sapphire. I love the colors. I think they're really great. I think they're very, very cool. Around $20-something thousand, $22,000.
Yep.
I think they represent actually value compared to some of their counterparts in that category.
Yes.
Got to be honest. Would you agree?
I do. This is the one part where we're right down the middle.
Gotta say, I don't put them in A, right? Because as a brand, we're not talking about one model.
There's too many misses.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
So that model, I would put, somewhere in the A, like the B category. I'd say, wow, that's a really alluring thing. But as a brand, I got to drop them down, really to C, and it's really CD, but C.
Whoa! Oh, yeah. I thought I'd go B.
Really?
Because of
keep in mind, I'm not using S. Right?
Oh, you're not using S.
S,
Okay, yeah. Okay, well here, look at this. We can change our graphical user interface and delete that row.
Oh, well, there you go.
Isn't that amazing?
So then you could put them at, I think they're still like CB. Instead of CD.
I delete one row and you
but instead of CD, they're BC,
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of, they still have the C though.
Delete a row, you're like, oh, that's kind of aggressive.
Where would you put them?
With this new update.
You're like, wherever you say, boss.
Wherever you say. People are like, does he have opinions?
Yes,
I'm like,
opinions.
yes. It just sometimes he's gonna freak out, and I don't need that.
Like when we pick on Casio, and you try to put them in A.
Oh, Casio, yeah, I'm putting it way up there.
What's wrong with you?
I'll say C. Their fusion moon phase is what could push it to a B. I just think that's a fantastic value.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else is just too expensive, too big, and the people that wear Hublot usually look like they want to fight me.
That's true. Yeah. I keep them right in C. But yes, I understand where you're going. How about IWC?
I'll go on this one. I would put IWC. This is tough now that we don't have S. They're definitely not.
We can add S back now.
Well, in that case, Hublot better go up one. I'm going to put them at B because of two reasons. They're Mark 20. I like that it went in-house, 120-hour power reserve. It's too big for me, but that's fine. It's not too big for everybody, but I do love the design. It's classic, super boring. That means I'm going to like it. And then also, their Portofino collection.
Really?
I think that's...
So you're the guy that likes the Portofino.
Yeah. Wow. I get that comment all the time. You're the guy that likes Zenith. Okay, so you.
I agree with you. B.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think they have enough really good watches to put them there.
Yeah.
I love the Portuguese. I just love that fucking watch. I think it's phenomenal.
A while ago I said, like, Blancpain versus Rolex. Rolex is the businessman. Blancpain is the watch artistry. And there's two very separate identities. Mm-hmm. I feel like IWC doesn't do it perfectly, but they do navigate both sides.
Yeah, I think the perpetual calendars are amazing. I think that their Portuguese watches are amazing. I think that like that blue ceramic fucking watch was unbelievable. I think they're really cool. I really like. I mean, I don't like them enough. I don't like them enough to buy one, but yes. I really like them. And that's not even true. Like I like them. I like them a lot. They're not for me per se. Mm-hmm. But they're really good.
I agree.
They're for a whole lot of people, and they're great at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the movements are phenomenal.
I had the 36, which I thought was fantastic. And now since they're kind of moving, they have their own in-house line, but they're moving like seems like more of their watches to in-house. Yep. It seems like it's getting better and better.
Richard Mille.
I go D.
D. Yeah.
No discussion. Just
here. I agree.
That price is wild, baby.
I don't find it interesting. I don't find. I really don't find much interesting about the brand. I don't find it very alluring. I think it's one of those things that if you buy into it culturally, that's great, and if you do not buy into it culturally, you're not interested. There is not very much of like a poetic sales pitch. There isn't something that is very dynamic about that brand. Yeah, maybe some dynamic, use of material and technology. I mean, a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that everything is pedestrian. I don't mean that it's pedestrian.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that the watches are uninspired largely.
I think price is what totally puts me out of it. Some of their designs, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
The price is ridiculous.
Yeah, price is where I'm like, forget. I'm going to feel like an idiot even if I buy one.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll save, obviously, some big players to the last. I think this is where we made... Yeah. Do we include vintage at all? No, right?
That's... Yeah, you can... I wasn't. But it didn't matter up until now.
Right. Heuer, for me, vintage, we're at the top. Heuer
Really?
now, C.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd put Heuer at C.
Because then we'll only argue modern.
Yeah, we'll argue modern. I'll put Heuer at C, and that is. What am I even complimenting?
I was gonna say,
there's not much.
When I look at modern Heuer, I'm like, there's one maybe I kind of like, and it's a reissue.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So true. I'm honestly, they're getting a pass from me with C.
Do you want to pull down?
I'm not gonna put in a beef about it,
If I discount reissues, where do you put it?
D.
Yeah.
100%.
I think we go D.
Ooh!
The TAG brand rep is like,
They hang up. That's it. That's
okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
We got some big brands.
That's some big brands. Let's save them.
Do you have any thoughts on Breitling?
Okay, I think on the positive level, there's actually plenty I like about the Breitling catalog. I actually like Breitling watches quite a bit. Is it the Premier Chronograph?
Yeah.
They have the mint version is phenomenal. One of the greatest watches I think available.
Yeah.
I think that the blue split second version is even, although I don't like the blue dial because I like the mint dial, but it's one of the greatest watches available. It's just like an amazing watch.
Yep.
I think that their Super Ocean Heritages are great. I think that their like endurance models are great. I think Breitling's awesome. They have awesome watches. Again, they're sporty, so you're putting them like it's not even fair for me. Like the same, you know what I mean? Like it's very similar sentiment to IWC. The watches aren't for me, but I think that they're great, and I think that a lot of like they're great. I think they're great. That being said, I give them a B.
A B.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought I was going to be the generous one. Since there's only 4, I was going to go C because
really
I love the Chronomat, 36 Chronomat, especially in rose gold, and I think that comes in as a ridiculous price. You were just on a podcast where they made fun of that watch.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a cool watch, Jerry Seinfeld. That's not his watch, but specifically. But then I look at like almost everything else, unless you are like our friend TJ, where you're going to use like this like super dark stealthed out watch.
Yeah.
Everything else to me looks like there's a healthy like pour of, I don't know, catering mall watch to it. Like the Top Time, I feel like is one of their most beautiful watches ever. And then the modern version, they kind of made bigger, made thicker.
I do agree with that. I agree with that. I think the Top Time, I don't think it was that great. Yeah, I still give them a B, but I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you might be inclined to go C.
If there was a 5th row, we put it somewhere else. You keep being like, it's almost tough to put it in because it should be in the middle.
Yeah. Tudor. We're going to disagree here.
Wait, 1, 2, 3.
C.
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, C.
Yeah.
Oh, C. Okay, no, I'd put B.
Really?
Yeah, for that price and if you want the boring aesthetic with a little bit of heritage, which is your wild side, I think B.
Well, if we're discussing just value, I think that they're B, but I think that IWC and Breitling work way harder on like originality.
Right.
Tudor does not. Tudor, there's almost nothing original about that brand. So, I mean, I love the watches have a time and a place. I love the watches; they're great. I'm sure a million of you guys watching have Tudors, and they're great watches. And it's it's not for me. Again, back to sport. I don't really wear too many sports watches. I'm wearing a sports watch right now, but I don't wear too many of them. And I think that IWC and Breitling have more original sports watches. I think they just do a little bit better of a job on design and a better job on a lot of things. I mean, yeah, I like Tudor.
I
recommend them, but I won't give them a B.
Obviously, I've had the opportunity to buy one, so have you. And in that time, I have bought every other watch around it. If they had a blue 39 Pelagos, again, 5th category would have been awesome. I don't want to put them in C. I'd put them in B. But I didn't buy one. And it also doesn't matter that much.
You call me in the middle of the night. You're like, I think I fucked up.
It was
with
a
that.
B. It was a B.
Wasn't
It is a B for me, but what am I going to do? What am I going to say?
What do you think?
I think we'll go Nomos.
Nomos. I agree. Yeah. Fucking A. I love Nomos.
I'm wearing Nomos today.
Are you? That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Club Campus.
Club Campus, baby.
Yep. 36.
Yep.
Yep. Blue.
37 actually, because this is the larger. This is the Neomatic. This is the automatic version.
I have a Club Campus coming in.
I know it's pink.
I have the pink.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's 36.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I again, if this is about, likelihood of buying and recommending, I have to give Nomos an A because I buy and recommend them all the time.
Yep.
I love them.
Yep.
On a more objective level, even on the value level, still A. I could see an argument for putting them in B. I could.
What would it be about?
The argument would be, I was going to say that they don't have much diversity in the collection. That's not true. It's not really true.
I think we've discussed it before too, where it seems like there's one more watch Nomos needs to come out with.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but you need one more watch that hits.
I think that if you don't like, how about this? There isn't a Nomos watch for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You either kind of like the
limited aesthetic, clean,
right,
happy,
or you kind of don't.
Yeah.
So I love Nomos.
Yep.
But I can see why someone who is looking for more of a sports watch would not accept the Ahoy as a sports watch. I can understand why someone would say, no, I'm really looking for more of a traditional.
I want a sporty looking watch as long as it's.
I want a Submariner alternative.
Yeah.
And they don't have that. So exactly. I could understand an argument for B. I will go A. I love Nomos, but I could understand B.
Let me give you one. Jaquet.
Good question.
We've worked with them. We've both held their watches many times.
Yeah.
Still to this day. Well, not. Yeah. Still to this day, their movements and their automatons and everything have been the only thing where I'm actively sending pictures to my friends that aren't watch people.
Right.
I'm like, look at the butterfly wings and stuff like that.
Yes. Again, this is a brand that is not. I mean, it's not only is it not for everyone, it's so specific.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how this weighs into anything. I think someone that's buying one of these watches maybe wears them to one event very carefully.
Yeah.
Because they are so, yes, they are a watch. Yes, they tell the time. But you're walking around with, gold foil butterfly rings on your wrist.
Yes.
Butterfly wings, rather. Do you want to bump that?
Right. Yeah. You know what I honestly don't like about Jaeger-LeCoultre is I don't love the cases.
Yes.
They're kind of bubbly. They're a little bit big.
Which falls in line with all these hyper complicated watches. Eventually, the case just gets. It's just a holder.
Yeah, I think the Jaeger-LeCoultre could be an A, if they made some changes to their catalog. I think that it is, for the vast majority of people, it would be a D.
I agree.
It is probably a C, but I can understand the argument for D.
Yes. Yeah. For you.
I mean, it's tough because one of my dream watches just of all time would be a, enamel dialed Patek.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a remarkable, the colorful, whether it's a fish or whether it's probably something cool,
Yeah.
A Calatrava. That would be remarkable, but it's so well proportioned and they're so good.
The case is perfect.
Yeah. So if Jaeger-LeCoultre took their dial making capabilities and leveraged or put them to a slightly more mass market, and to call the Patek enamel dials mass market is not fair at all.
Appeals to
make them a little bit more palatable.
Yeah,
they would be A. They would be A. But because they are so specific, because they're so out there, they're like a fucking D.
I think that's well said, because I was gonna say that Tiger watch, the case may as well be a Moser case, which I would rate as a D.
Right.
So what do you think of Moser?
What do I think of Moser? It's a good question. I've discussed this, briefly before. I give them an A to a B, probably an A for originality.
Okay, I was gonna say, wow. Yeah. Okay.
I also give them an A for quality of construction. They are that good.
Yep.
There's
they're watchmakers,
question.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know how they're priced at retail, so I can't say too much about value, but last I checked, which was probably about a year ago, they were representing value, but the market was also crazy. So a lot of things, you know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. They just weren't that popular in that market.
yes. Again, they are kind of specific. If you don't like the Moser design language of their dials, meaning just like, vignette color, then you're probably not going to want anything to do with a Moser.
Yep.
But I like them though.
Really?
I do like them. I mean, I particularly like their Endeavor as a Calatrava counterpart. I think is again bolder, but I think like more interesting.
Of course.
I think it's
Of
amazing.
course. It's definitely breaks the norm.
100%. And I think the Pioneer, which I don't like in the dial colors that are common, in the blue and the red, I don't love it, but I loved it in this kind of like aqua blue green. I think that was amazing, and I think that was like it's not an Aquanaut alternative because it's the Aquanaut is more sporty.
Yep.
But this is pretty sporty. This is a sports counterpart to their dress watch, which is the Endeavor, and it's pretty good. The Delta isn't big enough for it to be a sports watch, but this is a cool fucking watch. I do like it.
Wow.
So I'll give them, I also think the Pioneer Center Seconds is pretty cool.
Oh, that one's okay.
Yeah, a cool watch. So I will ultimately give them a B. Yet I can see the argument for A. And I can see I can see the argument for C.
I go D.
Really?
Yeah, it's personal, obviously.
Wow.
I just don't. There's maybe one thing I like about Moser.
Which is
the bezel on that watch you just showed me, the dive watch.
Yeah.
Everything else, I'm like,
that was their attempt at the Pioneer Center Second, or that's their attempt at creating a more mass market.
Yeah. To me, I think you can go not mass market. In a good way, in a bad way. For me personally,
not a fan.
Oh, no.
Really?
All the money in the world, I wouldn't get one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
They're beautiful, as in the movements and the technology and stuff. Cool. I don't know why, but when I look at something like this, I'm like, I'd rather get a Ming if we're going to go unique looking watches. They had some old watches, which I thought vintage again.
So I'll go B, you're going D. So you want to split the difference and call it a C?
Yeah.
Ugh, it almost feels unfair to me to give them a C, but it's okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We should have done a list each.
Wow. This is okay. We are going to put C with the explicit mention that I do.
Yes.
Neither of us are happy with this.
Yes.
Because Michael wanted D. I think that it only by a hair went B instead of A.
Wow. I didn't know that about you.
B.
Wow. I did not know that. Wow.
D for you. C is our compromise.
Yes.
Okay. Next.
Let's do Seiko.
D.
Were you just waiting to hear that?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it.
D, Y. Well, it's personal. Yeah.
It's
too cheap.
Like, yeah, it's not that it's too cheap. I mean,
too cheap as in, I don't mean as in price only. I mean as in design inspiration. I mean as in like uniqueness. I mean,
yeah. I think that they're just boring, and no one's been able to convince me otherwise. And I'm super open to being convinced otherwise.
It's the whole model of like, but look, this dial's lacquered or it's enameled, and you're like, that's crazy.
Who cares?
That's crazy.
Like, whereas Casio, which we'll get to in a minute, like if you just said like what's the Casio that it's a Casio, right? With the little calculator on it.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Casio has too many hits to argue with.
But I can see like you putting that watch in fucking B or A. Like that is such a fucking classic.
That's what I
watch.
mean. We'll get to Casio in a second. I want to give Seiko.
What is Seiko's equivalent to that?
Nothing.
So then where are you putting?
Someone when I said that just slammed their fist.
Our last line of defense.
He was all that was good. I realistically, well, here's the thing.
Interesting.
Me now.
It's cool. Zenith. No, I'm just kidding.
Me now, C. Because my market has expanded past that. Me.
Wow, what a status-driven.
In college, though, I would put that in S. I would add a category back because that was along with vintage Omegas and stuff.
Will you pull?
Watch it.
It's from.
You're like, oh, that's funny.
It's from Inventing Anna, which is a Netflix show. I'm not just making fun of Michael
because he's poor.
Yeah.
In college, or when that was my price range, it was vintage or Seiko. And then Seiko would have been top marks because I could have found anything I wanted.
I watched Inventing Anna, the first episode with my dad. It
Yeah.
was so bad. And I also watched the Harry and Meghan thing with my dad the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could get through it. Oh my God, it was unbearable.
Really?
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
Wow.
Holy shit.
What about them?
When I was a kid, if I would cry, my dad would go, wiki wah, wiki wah. That's what he used to say to me.
There's little bits and bops about your life that you tell me. I'm like, that's why.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you hurt? Wiki wow. I haven't said wiki wow in years.
You're like, I actually haven't said that till it was said to me.
Back. Did I ever tell you this? I'm sure I've told you this before. My dad used to wake me up early in the morning when I had school. I told you this?
About snow?
Yeah, about snow.
Yeah.
Any time of the year when I had school, my dad would come in and wake me up really, really early, like 6:30 or something. And he'd be like, "Hey, buddy, wake up!" And I'm like, It's like, "It's snowing outside." I'm like, "Huh? It's snowing. There's no school. Ryan Barron's waiting outside for you. He wants to play. He wants to throw snowballs." And I'd be like, "Oh." Thank
Amazing.
God, there's no school. And my dad thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I would go, I would brush my teeth happy.
It's June.
It was so happy. Anyway, when Sally stays over, I'll do that to her. I'll be like, "Wake up, it's snowing. Ryan Barron's outside." Ryan Barron's lives in Philadelphia. We haven't spoken in 10 years or 15
God,
years.
you should really reconnect with them.
Yeah, no, we're not buddies. But
Seiko.
see. I'll settle for it. I mean,
I'll
I wanted
settle.
D, but I'm not going to fight you on it.
What's the point? What's the
Oris. Muy interesante.
Sí.
Okay, Oris, I think,
You. Has to be you.
as opposed to who, Michael?
Well, because we keep getting caught up in the, well, if I was...
Well,
if I was...
I think that Oris, the argument can be made for B or C,
Yep.
but if you put Oris next to Tudor, Oris is clearly higher.
Oris is its own brand.
Oris is its own brand. They're clearly better. So because we've got Tudor in C, I have to put Oris in B.
I can't believe how much trouble that's going to get us in Tudor and C.
Yep.
Not directly, but in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big-
I'll eat those words.
Big conference. We don't even remember this video. Hey, why'd you put Tudor and C?
Like, what the f*** are you talking
It's Hans Wilsdorf.
Yeah.
He's 300 years old. Okay,
Did you see they're
Casio.
putting Pele's feet in the FIFA, like,
His feet?
his feet?
What about his cleats?
They are, right. That's what I was like, I'm like, did they,
Is he a saint?
are they, right, like, what the f*** is
Some
that?
people are like, yes, don't say that.
Ugh, so
Wow,
gross.
that's yucky.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, next.
Casio,
Where you're going A? Is that where you're going with this?
just too many iconic things. Think about G-Shock. Think about
I don't care
calculator.
about the G-Shock.
You don't care what you wore one.
I was going through a phase, Michael. Kanye was wearing G-Shocks.
Right.
So that shows you how long.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, right. At least 2 months ago. Grand Seiko.
That's it. That's the whole conversation, huh?
Oh, you want more?
I don't know. I just thought that it would be a little bit longer than that.
To me, it's what, the F91, G-Shock just
Oh,
entirely.
but what about the G34?
John Mayer.
Such a weird watch.
John Mayer.
There's no G34. I made it up.
I had no idea what that was. John Mayer.
Say it again. Say it.
Hodinki's like, yes,
Say it
yes. Please, Michael. Ben's crying.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't give it an A. I don't.
Wow.
But I'll let you do it. I'll
I
let
think
you
I'm
do
having a
it.
heart attack.
I'll let you do it.
Okay, great.
Okay. Omega.
Omega.
B.
B.
Yeah.
Huh. What keeps you from making an A?
What keeps me from making Omega an A?
Oh, never mind. Modern.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about keeping in mind that this entire conversation, is I'm a vintage guy.
Well, I was just.
By the way, thank you for not putting Cartier here. I really appreciate how thoughtful you were.
You were
you f***ing piece.
so boring.
No, Omega. Yeah, I give them a B. They are. Oh yeah, I will give them a. You know what would be funny if not that we're going to do this because we don't need to do this, but we could have also once they're in their individual categories, we could rank the B's and the C's and the D's.
It could never end. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, well, no, it ends right after that. Actually,
Well, alphabetical.
Yeah.
Like, why did you do alphabetical? We're debating.
How do you want to rank these watches? By value, by level of interest,
or alphabetically?
I think alphabetically.
Oh, we should have saved that for April Fool's Day.
Oh my goodness!
Ranking our favorite watch by
Ranking our favorite watches by alphabetical order.
Yeah, we don't even say what's our favorite. We're like, oh wow, that's crazy that Casio is in front of Rolex.
That's fucking great. It's crazy that Casio is in front of Rolex. I just think that when I consider all the variables at play here,
Casio,
I mean, the entire picture,
sure,
we have to put Casio first.
Or close to it. We have AP, obviously.
Right.
You're like, really?
What the
I would have never guessed Patek is down that far.
Zenith. You're like, honestly, I can't defend Zenith this time.
I can't. It has to go at the end. It's a 45-minute long video.
Really? You won't defend? Wow.
I
didn't
had to
see
think
that
of something.
because you're such a Zenith guy.
I know, but
You're the Zenith guy.
I can't argue with that.
I just can't. I'm at an impasse.
I mean, look at it.
Yes. Okay, Omega. Yeah. I give them a B. I would probably make them number 1 on the B list, which means they probably are close to A. I think they make better watches than IWC. I think they make better watches. Oh, you can do it.
Whoa.
Oh, there you go. Maybe we'll do that at the end.
That's
you can
amazing.
make better watches than IWC and Oris and all that stuff.
Yep.
I think that they are, I think that they're more interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're just fucking better,
Yes.
But I can't give them an A. I mean, listen, the A's that we've given out have been odd A's anyway. I mean,
yeah.
Omega watches are better than Nomos watches. Of
course, yeah. But that's not what it's on.
But Omega's catalog is also more varied and more dynamic than Nomos' catalog. So we're trying. Our A's aren't necessarily fair, and we know that. I just love Nomos, and you love Casio, whatever. Okay, that's where we put it, and we'll rank them all later.
Yes, I would say vintage is what would. That's why I was shocked you didn't say A. But when I think of the modern catalog, there's some hits, but not as many as when I'm looking at their entire history.
Yes.
JLC.
Yeah. JLC. You go.
B. Reverso to me is what JLC stands on.
Yeah.
And I think that's they're not a one brand watch. They have a ton of amazing watches, but the Reverso sticks out so much. And they also obviously take advantage of that. A seems almost like I'm rating the Reverso an A and not the whole brand.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're B, and I actually put them after Omega as well. And we'll get into that later.
Oh, yeah, right.
But yeah, we'll get into that later. Audemars Piguet.
One brand watch. Be fair.
One brand watch?
I mean, one watch brand. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I'd say B. I might even say C.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it. That is ridiculous.
I like the Royal Oak, but what else? I don't want the code.
Code is nice.
It is nice. I don't want it, though.
I think it's more brilliant than you give it credit for.
Are you on the list for a code?
No.
Are you on the list for a Royal Oak?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. But I just think that, for a guy that is looking to spend, like, the amount of money that I'm looking to spend, which is a good amount once, as opposed to the guy that's looking to do it 30 times. Like he's going to have some codes. It's not like it's a bad watch. It's just I'm looking at I'm going to do it one time and I like the Royal Oak. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure.
There are levels to this thing. You know what I mean?
Levels to everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at it like that. Like, yeah.
If you have a lot of money, you're gonna get a code.
Yeah. If you're really ready to just I don't even mean like through AP politics. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about if your budget is, and for a lot of people it is, $50,000 to $100,000 a year on watches, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's fucking real. Like a lot of my friends have budgets, associates, colleagues, whatever, have budgets, and they'll allocate, $50,000 to often $200,000 a year into watches.
Yeah.
And there's not that many watches, right? They're buying 4 watches, 3 watches.
Yeah. They're at the top of the shelf.
Yeah, exactly. So, and yeah, like a lot of those guys have codes. Like because they're fucking good.
Yeah.
They're fucking good. So, yeah. We have to put okay, I'm going to go for A.
A, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go for A. I think that you are correct in that the Royal Oak carries a disproportionate amount of the cred. Not all the credit anymore. I think the code is good enough. Is good. I think what is massive negative points for me
with AP.
The fucking Black Panther watch.
I knew. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah. Right.
What the fuck was that?
We'll lean into them after, but what would bring them way up is if they mixed a little of their old Patek kind of rivalry into their new collections.
Yeah.
Like to me, there's no, unless I'm missing this on their site or something, there's no, like, okay, well, this is our alternative to the Calatrava. You know what I'm saying?
You're dead on. You're dead on. But they're but you're wrong. Like,
as I say, unless I'm missing that.
The 1159 time only. I don't think it's perfect yet. I don't. I'm not saying it's perfect yet. But frankly, I've criticized the Calatrava a million times. I mean, so
Yeah.
No, it's the 1159. Like, the 1159 is the Calatrava. Is the AP Calatrava. It makes perfect sense. It brings in the industrial design language. It brings in the industrial design thing, right? Like it's not a Royal Oak ripoff, but it is.
Certainly not.
But it belongs in the family, in the catalog of the Royal Oak. It belongs in the AP family, defined by the Royal Oak. That is a Royal Oak dress watch. It's not there yet. It's not done. It's not done.
Not done. Not done and not there.
And frankly, I think they up in not releasing a 2.0 soon enough.
Yes.
This watch needed a 2.0.
If this was there, which I'm trusting what you say would be there, then I'd put it higher. But to me, I'm like that I think
But the chrono's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Time only, no good.
Yeah.
It's not that it's no good.
No good for this ranking.
It's not good enough.
Yeah. And it's not there yet type deal is where it pulls down for me.
Yeah. But what can you get? $27,000. I mean, $27,000 for that watch. And how much is the Calatrava right now? Because these two watches aren't even close in build quality. Okay, so the 1159 is $4,000 more than the Calatrava.
Yes.
And yet I think it's 30% better, if not more.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Not to say that would be value at 40, that would be 30% more,
yeah,
right?
Of course, yeah.
But I think that that's the delta. Like the distance I can agree with. What that would do you see my point?
Yes, 100%. And I will say, looking at the code more, I can see what you mean. They're not there yet. This is 41 millimeters for me. Obviously, it's for me.
Yep.
Obviously, that would have to be smaller, thinner,
agree.
a little bit more compact, dressy style. That would be crazy. That would destroy the Calatrava if this, in my opinion, if this was 38
case is. Have you really looked at the case?
No.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable.
Really?
I'm serious. The finishing, the lugs are carved out. It's so nice.
Wow.
And then the crystal is unbelievable too, like the dome and everything. It's fucking amazing.
Christian loves
it.
It is
30% better, and it's not there yet. The dial is not there yet. But on
some of these dials, I'd say,
on the perpetual calendar, it's there. Did you see the perpetual calendar with the Starry Night? Like
the Starry Night. Yeah, that's one I always like.
But anyway, we can move on from this. I'll give them B, but I can certainly see the argument for A, and yeah.
I'll go B on the concession that the code is going to get better soon. Because it is close.
Yes.
I'll take that back.
Very close.
Well, we're getting some big players now. Patek.
A.
All right, done.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the Patek that is popular is boring, and yet I think that the entire world of Patek is remarkable. They make incredible watches. Their high complications are unbelievable. Yeah, there's plenty of misses. The brand does plenty of things that I think are mediocre, but no, the brand is not mediocre. The brand is fantastic.
Yeah, I think they have designs that they made way, way long ago and today that you could be in the store in any era and think they're both modern, but they're both classics.
Yep.
AP is very sporty. That's why I'd like to mix in.
Yep.
But yeah, 100%. Longines. We're leaving the big three, obviously.
Yeah, Longines, I would put it, okay, because it's tough, right? Because it's either at the front of C, but realistically, like if you're going to be aggressive and mean, it's there. I'd probably put it in B. I'd probably put Longines in B. I think that their Legend Diver is awesome.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal watch.
Yep.
I think that, I mean, it's the vintage-inspired stuff is their best stuff.
I was going to say...
They're really good.
Legend Diver is unique language, awesome design, everything. And then a lot of other stuff, to me, falls into the derivative of like, well, this is, if you don't want the Explorer because it's too expensive or you can't get one, you can get our Spirit collection. You can. It's there.
Yeah. Like
but it's not, there's nothing striking.
Their Calatravas are awesome. Like, again, listen, Longines leans quite heavily on their vintage catalog. And frankly, like,
It works. They're doing billion
really
a year.
works. Yeah, and not just like, I mean, you know, a lot of things work. I mean, Nazism was really popular. It doesn't mean it was good.
It was in the 40s.
But no, but I mean, like they deserve it. Like on the originality end, you know, they don't get a ton of points because on everything. I mean, on the Zulu time they do because that watch was new.
They also made that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, a lot of their other watches, they're kind of reissues, or they are reissues.
Yeah.
But the brand is listening. The brand produces fantastic quality watches at a really, really fair price. I put them in B.
Easy peasy.
And the only thing that would work against them would be the fact that they lean so heavily on reissues.
Yes.
You know,
of course, always.
Bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Grand Seiko.
Grand Seiko, again, I mean, it's probably going to be a really high B or A rank. It probably really high B or A. The brand is incomplete yet.
That's what's holding me from an A. They have that one banger watch, which we've talked about before. Like, they will have that one day. But when I look at the catalog as a whole, we like the Omiwatari, we like that K-shape, we like the dials, obviously.
Yep.
But there's still not that.
Obviously, the construction is unbelievable.
Yep. I'll go B.
Yeah. B.
We really like B.
Yep.
Zenith, baby. B, really?
Why? Where do you put it?
A. For value?
Yeah.
No, I don't put it there for value. But on the resale market, to me, it just crushes anything. Zenith is insane.
Yeah.
High B, El Primero, I have 2. I think they're unbelievable.
Yeah. I agree.
A? You're like, no, B.
I'll allow you to go A because it's really, really close. It's really close. But yeah, I'll allow you to go A.
Thank you for allowing me to go A.
You're an idiot.
All right, the beast, the monster, Rolex.
This is a tough one. And I think and I know that we disagree here.
Yes.
But I think let's duke it out. I think that we need to really hash this out. Should I go first?
Yes.
Okay. Rolex has to be